live theater? Well, theater has been around since the beginning of time as we know it. It came before movies and TV, came before radios, and live performances even came before books. So, if something so ancient is still around today, there must be a really good reason for it, right? Live theater is dated all the way back to 6th century BCE in ancient Greece, where they performed Greek tragedies. In a typical theater back in the olden days, there would have been 2,000 to 3,000 seats, which is just as big as any gigantic Canadian theater nowadays. There would have been commonly performed Shakespearean titles, which would have lasted about 5 hours, which is way longer than anything we've ever had around here for a long time. There would have been an open air type of setup, so that would have meant that you could have been exposed to any of the elements that happened to pass through during those 5 hours you were sitting there. I'm here at the Museum of White Rock and Archives, and right now there's a very special exhibit going on celebrating 80 years of the White Rock Players Club. So come with me and we'll take a look around. So let's start with some history of the White Rock Players Club. So here's the White Rock Players Club now. You might recognize it. It's on Johnson Road in White Rock, uptown, and it's got a really great mural on the side of it that is very recognizable, that represents the legendary White Rock pantomime that so many families go to as their tradition area. So in its earliest years, the White Rock Players Club was just wherever it could find space to go. It didn't actually have an actual building that it belonged to. Rehearsals were just at places they could find, they could rent out whenever they could, which is how most theater companies start. But after a while, the places started losing availability, and so they ended up here on Marine Drive in 1951. And eventually they made it to this building, which got renovated to look like this later on. So this just really shows that theater companies and actors, anyone who's involved in the arts, can really find any way that they can to create the art that they love so much. And it says right here, they only had $80 in their bank account, and that's when they got that first building in 1951. So you can make anything happen, and they did, and now the White Rock Players Club has been open for 80 years this year. So it's quite amazing. Now that we've learned a brief history on the White Rock Players Club, let's take a look inside the Oceana Parc Playhouse, the home of the White Rock Players Club today.
Hi, Brianna. Welcome to White Rock Players Club.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Scott Krisjanston, and this is White Rock Players Club. Besides being a producer, I was Bob Dwarf for Snow White and the 8 dwarfs there for the panto this year, and I'm also on the board as the communications secretary. That means I talk to people who want to know more about White Rock, which is one of the reasons I'm here, and I'm also the recording secretary.
Hi, my name is Fred Partridge. I'm the artistic director of the White Rock Players Club, past president, and I've been a member for somewhere around 40 years. We showed up here as a bunch of friends, and we just started doing plays together, and you know, friends come and friends go, so we have new friends here. So and theater, you know, when I had, there's a period of time I had a bit of a dry spell here. I didn't really come out and do any shows. I got really itchy. It's just like every time I saw anybody talking about acting, like behind the scenes stuff, processes, I gotta get back. I started getting kind of shaky, so I just love being on stage. Stage work is more of an actor's medium because once you're up there, the director can't control you. Whereas in film work, you will do it again and again until the director gets what they want. Which is fine, you know, and that's great too. It's just a different thing.
What's nice about live theater as opposed to a movie is it's all local people, live on stage, crazy enough as that is, and you can get some real magic that happens if you get a good audience. The panto is amazing for that.
You've got really a lot more freedom to sort of try, you know, within boundaries, you know, something a little different. You tweak it, change the timing maybe. It's just a different thing. You're used to watching stuff on a screen, and then to have like real people doing it, and they're like 20 feet away or whatever the distance is, but to see it happening in real time, it just changes the whole dynamic. It makes everything that happens there seem so real. It's fulfilling, and it's like, if you do it right, it can be really exciting.
Let's have a grand tour. Have you been here before, Brianna?
I have actually.
Well, this is our lobby, our proper theatrical mass, of course, and this is our shows for this season. This is the 79th season for White Rock Players Club. Come on in. Now we'll look at this is the booth. Yeah, this is the sound and projections board, and this is the light board, and it controls all the different lights in the theater, as you can see here. They're all mapped out. These are, yes, it's a traditional White Rock Players Club that after you've done a show, you find some place where you can write down what the show was and what you did as part of it. And it just goes on and on and on, right? So when we go backstage, you'll see a lot of names there. I hope your name's there somewhere. Yeah. There you go. That's part of the tradition at White Rock Players Club. We got to honor our volunteers. These are the original members of White Rock Players Club that actually ponied up the dough and mortgaged their homes in order to build this new theater. So, well, that's Franklin Johnston, as in the road. These are all the late great. That's our history. I should say the Rotary also helped with the funding of this. So thank you, Rotary. We hold 218 seats. About to start rehearsals yet again for Chapter 2. They've been doing it for months actually, but this is another rehearsal night. So soon this will be full of wonderfully talented actors and an amazing director making sure. And the costumes keep on going all the way there, so it's quite impressive, all the different costumes they can do. Okay, this is where people do their makeup and prepare for the show. This is where the cast is. These are the change rooms. So we have one for the guys and one for the ladies. And props everywhere, just in case, you never know. We're an old theater, we have a lot of different props. We gotta find any place we can to stay with. When the actors have wigs, this is their station, they'll put their wig right there. It's all set for next time.
Cool.
Those chairs right there are my personal favorite. So when you're ready for a show and you have a big pause, you're either in the green room or up here. Especially if they're costume change. This is actors in either place will just have nice little conversations. You get to know people. Right? One of the great things about being in a club, a theater club, is that you get to meet dozens and dozens of people and great friendships that last a lifetime.
Recently, I was involved in a production at EMS Theatre Company called Puffs, or The 7 Increasingly Eventful Years at a Certain School of Magic and Magic, about a certain magical boy, where I played the narrator. I went behind the scenes and got some interviews from some of the cast and crew. Welcome to the Wheelhouse Theatre. This is Earl Marriott Secondary's famous theatre that we have here. You can take a look around. It's quite large, considering we're just a high school in South Surrey. It has 220 seats, I believe, and it is in our school color, so that's pretty cool.
I am Candace Radcliffe, and I am the drama teacher and director of theater at Earl Marriott Secondary. I started actually just taking drama in high school and fell in love with it. The theater department really did begin in 1974 with a teacher. The original drama teacher here was Mr. Rick Harmon, and he's still actually one of my best friends. I was not here in 1974, but there was not as much, of course, going on in communities. There weren't, like, in terms of kids having after school jobs. There weren't all these millions of different programs and things that kids could do. And the school was brand new, and Mr. Harmon said, we're going to do some theater. And he kind of rallied the original staff of Earl Marriott around this idea that we were going to become a school that did theater. They would go and rent the White Rock Players Club because all we had was like a little tiny room, like a little weird studio room, which is now a drafting room. Then he retired and I took over. Puffs is a really fast-paced parody of all 7 books of Harry Potter, the Harry Potter series. It follows a sort of a clumsy young wizard named Wayne in the Puffs house.
I think live theater is so important because unlike film, it's all live and every single actor is pouring their hearts out in that moment for everyone in the audience, and all they've worked for is just portrayed in that one night, those few hours, and it's so important and such a big piece of that person that they're sharing with everyone and hoping that everyone likes it as much as they did.
Well, I mean, you do make many friends through it. It's really fun.
But it's because you're so vulnerable and you're so open that everyone is, so you all click together and become friends through that vulnerability, and it's just so beautiful.
Hi, my name is Sahara, and I'm the stage manager and head tech for Puffs at EMS Theater. I dedicated my high school years for this because I just love my theater kids. They're my family, so yeah. Oh my god.
I like the people, I like the experience, and even though it's a lot to do, I think the end product gives me some type of serotonin.
So my job right now is to tell people to go to places and to be quiet because they love dancing. Because we're opening in 5 minutes.
Performing the show is how I got an agent, so that kind of brought another part of acting into my life.
So I went to a show at the Jericho Arts Center just last night, and they had a very prominent deaf community there. They had 2 performances that were done by deaf performers, and it was basically just all miming. And I thought that was really neat. It's like giving opportunities to literally the voiceless to tell stories that us hearing people are very privileged to. And so I think telling stories for other people and being involved in progressing social issues and giving people opportunities that they typically haven't gotten is what brings me back to theater.
My name is Linda Weston, and I'm a costume volunteer for EMS Theater. I have been doing costuming for 20 years, and I became involved when one of my children was in the theater program at the school. The reason I keep coming back to do costumes at EMS is that it gives me the opportunity to work with other costume volunteers and learn from them. I love costume, especially historical costume. I enjoy the challenge and the satisfaction of seeing it all come together on stage.
I'm Jeff Manton.
And I'm Shelby Manton.
And we are siblings.
Yeah, so we actually ran a film production company together.
And we were both in the theater program here, a bunch of the plays, as well as with Radcliffe in the film and television program.
We learned how to collaborate, we learned how to create, we learned how to experiment, and ultimately we went out on a limb and just started our own production company right out of university and
creating a career out of it, because it's not easy. It's a hard path, but we're here to say it's possible.
The drama community or the music, that's a community. Those are your people, you relate, and those are some of my best memories, and I feel so alive, and I love to perform. Everything best about humanity and humans. That's the arts to me.
Hey mama, welcome to the 60s.
Hi, we're here at the Queen Elizabeth Theatre to see Hairspray live on Broadway across Canada. Come with us to look around.
In front of you, filming documentaries.
It's just a totally different experience. I mean, it's an amazing experience to hear the music live, hear people singing, see them dancing. Like we're really into concerts. This is just a different level. Yeah.
This year, I was also involved in Smash Theater Company's Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
My name is Sheila, Reader, and I am the director of Smash Theater Company, also Smash Theater School. Smash Theater is a youth center for performing arts, although we have moved into company shows, so they get to start quite young, and then as they progress through their ages, through their skill, through learning all the song, dance, all of what it takes to be in theater, musical theater, they can then become part of the company. And then we could go up through professional, all of that. So it's a really great place for kids to start and grow and learn something that they're passionate about. Everyone in theater that I have, been blessed to be a part of, we're so supportive of each other because it's a vulnerable place. You have to create and discover and learn and help each other. You have to go on stage in front of so many people and trust each other, and you have to do that in life, and you have to count on each other and support each other and praise and build each other up, because all of you is what creates the performance, and all of you is what creates the productions. It's not just one person.
Hi everyone, we're here at the Genesis Theater in Ladner Delta, and I am playing Levi, and later you'll see me as Pharaoh, the king.
So the community of people in it just is really fun to be around. They're really loving and really understanding. I've improved learning to organize my time because we have a lot of rehearsals.
This is my first time in theater. I had my first performance about 4 days ago. I was freaking out behind stage. No, I was so scared. But when you get out there, it's totally calm, and it was so awesome. It's an experience I'll never forget.
Everything melts away. It's just there's no one in the audience, and you're just performing for yourself, really.
They leave, they're smiling, they love the show, and the songs get stuck in their head. That's always one of the biggest compliments I get. Oh, the show, it was so great, loved it, songs are stuck in my head, because that tells you you've done a great job.
A lot of people I know support sports, and they always think oh, everything, you want to learn how to do teamwork, I gotta go join a sports team. It's well, no, come. Your sports team has 7 people on the field, and you do all these things. Ooh, that's fantastic. My sports field has 40. And they all have to work in unison, and they all have to do all these things that you don't learn to do that anywhere else other than theater.
I think live theater productions, though some people might think them are falling out or they're more for the bourgeoisie, I think overall it's something that should be kept, as it's a real pillar of a lot of communities.
In fact, I had one of the dads, just yesterday he came up to me and he said he was summing in his day, and he's like, that was so stressful in my day. He said, so I decided I was going to get a ticket to go see Joseph, and I did. He said, all I want to do is sit in Joseph. He had seen it before, and he said he drove to the theater and he watched Joseph for the second time, and he said it's what he needed because it brought him love and light, and I think that's important. I think when you see people up there performing and loving something and being passionate about anything, you take so much away from it. So I think it's important.